Jackie Auction in the building.
There you go. So before we start, I'm really excited about our amazing race
Oh,
that's coming up on August 16th. Our other title sponsor, other than Thinking Real Estate, is AT&T. And we have tickets now for the after party. They're $20. Party starts at 5, goes till 9, and Kung Fu Diesel is playing.
good band.
And then $20 includes admission to hear the Kung Fu Diesel and food.
Food.
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
So it should be a lot of fun, and teams can sign up. We haven't started promoting it. We're talking to you guys today about getting the promotions going. We're looking for stop sponsors, after party sponsors. We have some openings available. So call me, 780-3800, if you want to have good exposure, have lots of fun, and support a good cause, which
Who wouldn't want to do that?
and the money goes to the Fitness Council. So we're excited. With that said, let's get into the topic.
When's the date?
August 16th.
August 16th.
And come and watch, come and have fun. It's walking, biking, kayaking, and taking the bus. And I have to, I have another announcement. Bill is on a team.
Sweet.
Sweet.
I was in Wells Fargo Advisors yesterday talking to the guys in there, and I threw Bill out on the table. I said, you know, if this 66-year-old can do this, you young punks can.
So did
Because
the
they've got some
I
healthy,
haven't done it yet.
young punks sign up?
they're going to,
Oh.
I'm pretty sure. They're going to do something.
Sounds like you.
That's a challenge to my Wells Fargo buddies, which would be Brad Clark, John Stewart, Jamie Grace. I don't know all the names, but that's a few of them. So,
Very good.
So she threw me under the bus, not out on the table. Okay. Anyway. So we'll see how it goes.
you know, I
My
have, he's,
my
Bill's
teammate
got,
my teammate is a younger competitor, so she ought to be able to carry me on her shoulders, I would expect.
and
Okay.
Bill has got the body of a 35-year-old.
There you
I'm
go.
just saying.
There you
He's very fit.
go. What do you know?
Quite fit.
Quite fit.
Quite fit, yeah. I fit in well. Right. All right.
It's toasty in here.
Is it?
I think the year just kicked on.
Air-
Okay.
Air just kicked on.
All right. Good to know. All right. I'd
It
like
kicks on
to.
usually when I'm leaving. I
That
think they do
happens
that
at the
on
heat.
purpose.
That happens at the heat in the winter, doesn't it?
It does.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to talk about is we have an election coming up, a primary.
Although we're not going to voice an opinion either way with respect to any ballot proposals because
Why not?
because then you've got to provide equal time, or you
Oh.
may have to provide equal time to somebody else. So I have given the admonition to my beautiful wife not to voice her opinion as a city council person, but we can have a discussion about the proposal.
Okay.
Okay, how's that?
Sure.
Sure. There's 3 proposals, and I have Kelly Hoover on the show next week
Okay.
from our Parks and Recs department. However, I don't know that she'll be here on that in that capacity, and she'll talk about the Parks and Recs millage that is on the ballot. But so the other 2 is Proposal 1, which is personal property tax.
Right, phase out of the personal property tax, which, if not approved at the August election, property tax will continue.
Any opinion? Oh, you can't give an opinion.
No, I can't. I can give my opinion. I'm not a
Why can't I-
politician, et
can't I give
cetera.
my
And
opinion?
I can talk about what property tax has been historically. It's been an ad valorem tax on personal property, even though it's used and it gets taxed from time immemorial, and there is a method for replacement of the tax by municipalities. So it's, from a business standpoint, it obviously has great attraction. And it's removing a large portion of the burden from small businesses, and personal property taxes will remain for industry or industrialized companies. So, yeah, I mean, from a purely legal perspective, it seems to make sense.
And the municipality, I'm told, will be made whole. So from a municipality point of view, that's not a net loss or a net gain.
Right, the municipality has the ability to replace the funds that will be lost through the ad valorem tax on personal property. So the municipality does not end up suffering a
But-
loss.
Are they taxing to do it?
Yeah, they're shifting. It's a tax shift is
This
what's
is what-
happening.
The
And
local
it's-
municipalities not taxing.
It's being
to
shifted
do
to
it.
a state level, and there's a fund being created and an entity being created to which the municipality can apply and has an ability to replace through that and also through local assessment. They have the ability to replace 100% of what is lost, but they can't get more. They can only replace the 100%.
Well, you know,
Right, well, and I think part of it ends up on the manufacturing.
More on manufacturing,
More on
less on small
manufacturing.
business.
And I take that back. I think the local does have a say in whether or not that tax gets implemented if proposal one passes. I should have read up on that. I was focused on
The
it.
municipality has an ability to replace the tax revenues lost through a combination of local assessment and application to the state, and I'm trying to remember the name of the fund or the entity that's being created, if this passes. If it doesn't pass, the personal property tax.
Local
continues.
units would be reimbursed for lost personal property taxes by dedicating a portion of state use tax revenues for that purpose, and school funding would be protected.
the question is,
Yeah.
where is that?
The burden is being shifted to manufacturing away from like a
Small
law
businesses.
firm or accounting firm or small businesses, retail places where they get taxed on their computers, their desks,
For time and-
furniture, et cetera.
Yeah.
And so it's being shifted to the manufacturing sector of the economy.
I'm having a hard time not giving my opinion.
So are they, I'm not hearing a lot of opposition to this.
I don't think there is much opposition to it.
Well, there is some. I got some calls yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why there would be much opposition to it. Again, I'm looking at it as a business owner and as a lawyer, and it makes sense.
Well, I had the state chamber on yesterday,
Okay.
and they couldn't really give me a good down-to-earth explanation of where the makeup money is coming
The
from.
large companies, the industrialized, and industry, manufacturing is what's going to get taxed. And I don't know exactly what the formula or formulae may be with respect to the taxation.
Well, they can't be too excited about that. Obviously, they're gonna pay more taxes.
Not all of them, most of the chamber itself, I don't know whether the state chamber, but
Well,
the
here-
local chambers comprise mostly small business owners.
Right, mostly.
Yeah.
So beginning
So they're-
fiscal year 2015-16, the local community stabilization authority would distribute revenue from the local share of the use tax to provide the following reimbursement. 100% of debt loss. I mean,
No,
it's
you-
quite
what Greg's looking
complicated,
for is
so.
the new use tax that's going into place, if this passes, where does that burden fall? And I don't know the formula, but it is falling on the manufacturing sector. That
It's
is
not
the
on
purpose.
the general population.
Not at all. This has
Okay.
nothing to do with
All right.
non-commercial, business property. If I'm a residential owner, this doesn't affect me at all, one way or the other. Because I'm not being taxed on my furniture in my house, et cetera, et
Their
cetera.
TV ad was quite effective. Did you see that?
I did not.
They dragged out a piece of equipment that was bought in
Oh, I did
Oh,
see
right,
that,
yeah,
yeah, it's
from-
taxed from generation to generation.
Generation.
And that's
That is
why.
silly.
Yeah, I agree. It just doesn't make sense. It's an ad valorem tax that goes on in perpetuity as long as I own
It's
it.
crazy.
Right. And this is a gradual phase out of the tax. As I acquire new equipment, a portion of it is gonna be exempt, and then even the stuff that isn't within the exemption, which I think is $40,000 or something like that.
80.
80,000,
80.
whatever.
Bottom
whatever
line, the
number is.
great-grandson was still paying
Yes,
taxes.
right, I
on
did see
the,
that ad, right. I thought it
Well,
was
when
very
we file
speculative.
our personal property tax return with the city, I mean, there are things that we've had since 1986 that we're still getting taxed on.
Yeah, I think those are computers that we're
No,
still
no,
using.
they're-
We're still running MS-DOS.
No, it's furniture,
You know, floppy disks,
but
those
Yeah.
sorts of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really work great.
Flip phones?
Yeah, I think it's 100K.
Bag phones?
Anyway, so let's talk about
Okay.
the major issue that is being faced by the electorate is the stormwater fee.
Stormy stormwater.
Storm-
Yeah.
storm,
And I
water
actually,
utility.
stormwater utility, and I see, I'm still doing an analysis of it. Again, from the legal end of it, does this proposal actually solve the issues that confront the city in light of the decision that was made by the Michigan Court of Appeals a year ago, August?
All right, so let's read the ballot language.
Yes,
Shall an ordinance be adopted authorizing a charge upon property owners for stormwater control that is proportionate to the direct and indirect costs of providing stormwater control based upon the percentage of pervious and impervious surface area of a property, and that further provides credits for the voluntary actions of a property owner to control contributions of storm flows to the storm water system.
it's gonna be tough to sell.
Well,
It's gonna be tough to sell, right there,
yeah, let me also suggest
just with the
something
ballot
here.
language.
Why do you say that? Because I had,
Because
Hold on
it's,
a I'm curious on this question.
it's ambiguous. When you say direct and indirect,
Costs?
yeah, there, right there, to me.
Well, any cost would have
Hold
to
it.
be proven.
Yeah, but to me, if you're in the ballot box, that sounds open-ended.
It does.
Is that fair, Bill?
You're asking a lawyer what's fair? The answer is it is exceedingly open-ended. It's not a question of
I'm
fairness,
just playing-
it's a question of
Laura, I'm
looking at
just
the
playing the
language.
devil's advocate.
Well,
No, I
that's
was
true,
in-
but any cost, anything that's charged from it would have to be justified. It'd have to be
Well, I understand that.
substantiated.
I understand
You
that,
can't
but if
just
you're in the ballot
arbitrarily-
box
Right.
and
I
you're a
understand.
first-time voter
Right?
and you read that, you know, that doesn't say anything
people
about
really-
leave pickup or
Right.
any of that stuff.
You and I are on the same page. If this thing is being sold as a way to get your leaves picked up, you're misapprehending, you're not understanding what this ballot proposal is about. This ballot proposal, in my opinion, is not sufficient to withstand Headley because it doesn't specify the amount of the millage. In other words, if I'm going to impose a tax, I want to know, I want to say we're going to impose a 1.1 mil tax for Parks and Rec, or we're going to impose it for school district sports, whatever it may be. I think what this proposal is trying to do is combine two things, is satisfy Headley in terms of getting a voter referendum to impose a tax beyond what a municipality is authorized under state law to tax, because we've reached apparently our taxing limit under state authority, and we don't have the funds to be able to devote to things like leaf pickup, et cetera. But at the same time, trying to comply with the decision made by the Court of Appeals in the county case and the was it Jackson Coffee Company case?
Yeah.
In which the Court of Appeals said that this is being used as a user fee to raise general revenue funds. And I really have a serious question with it, because the Court of Appeals in both the Bolt decision and in the Jackson Coffee Company case said that you can't do it for a system which is already in place, because that system benefits the public as a whole. The municipality has a responsibility to make certain that its discharge of water downstream in the Grand River to municipalities farther downstream and in the waters of the state, that's not polluted and it doesn't exceed the volume nor the rate, which would be the normal or natural rate. So we have a responsibility as a municipality, but that responsibility benefits the general public. And so when you start trying to impose a fee on individual property owners, irrespective of the formula that you use, I think you're placing a burden which is a general public burden and ought to be paid out of general tax revenues on an individual property owner based upon the pervious and impervious areas that they have. But you read the opinion of the Court of Appeals in both those decisions, and they say that you can't do it. You can do it for the new system, and that's what the Bolt decision was. They were trying to raise $170 million for capital improvements to expand the stormwater system. We're not doing that in Jackson. They just want to get money to be able to manage the existing system that they have.
Exactly.
And I'm not certain that they're going to be able to adopt any ordinance that satisfies the Bolt decision. So that they have to come straight at the electorate and say, we need more money, we need more revenue. We need revenue to operate this system generally, It's not a user fee, it's a tax. It's an ad valorem tax on all of the property within the municipality. And you approach it in that fashion and you let the electorate decide. Or if the sole issue is leaf pickup, in other words, we can manage our stormwater system, but we can't afford leaf pickup, well then you do a user fee for leaf pickup, which certainly can pass muster under Bolt if you do it right, if you set it up so that now the benefit conferred on each property owner reasonably relates to the cost for each owner. You can't do that by assessing each residential owner at one EHA, which is under the proposed ordinance. You got to go in and determine pervious versus impervious surface. And then you also provide for an opt-out provision, which says if you're going to pick up your own leaves or have somebody do it, or you're going to treat them on-site, mulch them, whatever it is, we don't charge you anything, then they can do it. But I look at this resolution, and like you, I think it's not only open-ended, I have a legal issue with it in that the ordinance, whatever it is that's adopted by the city, is going to be challenged, and the city, again, is going to have difficulty justifying it.
Well, I'm thinking Joe Voter has, impervious and pervious means nothing to them. The biggest issue was the spin-off of the leaf pickup
Right.
in the stormwater debacle, as I like to call it.
Right, and how do you justify leaf pickup as part of your stormwater system? You don't have the right to put your leaves in the street. If you do that, you're actually violating the law by now creating an impedance to the stormwater system. So, and the argument gets made, well, I've got leaves that fall into the street. Fine, well, we'll pick those up, part of the street cleaning process. But the instant you deliberately rake your leaves into the street, whether it's your front yard or backyard, I don't think makes one whit of difference. Now, all of a sudden, that has nothing to do with the stormwater system because you created that problem in the first instance. Why should the city have to pick it up? The city says, no, you can't put your stuff in the street.
And there are a lot of municipalities that don't pick up people's leaves.
But if
I
you
understand that, but
Yeah.
if the citizens want leaf pickup, then vote it as a leaf pickup ordinance,
That's
as a leaf pickup fee, tax, whatever.
exactly what I say.
And you don't need voter approval for that, by the way. You can do it as a user fee simply by city council approval. I don't need a referendum on that. I can actually devise a leaf pickup fee that's strictly user-based. It's just like a waste management fee. If the city council decided to have one servicer within the city, they could do it. They tried it, didn't work. They rescinded that particular ordinance. But you don't need voter approval for that.
What if they're, part of the plan for the stormwater fee was to add, I don't even know what the name of the system is, but is it 1 minute already?
Yeah.
Catch basin.
Jeez.
If you're
Some-
doing,
some-
if
yeah,
you're
some
doing
improvements.
capital improvements that improve a particular property under Bolt v. Lansing, you do a special assessment district and you specially assess the properties within that district where you're making the capital improvements.
So
You
if a
can't-
storm drain is in front of our property, and it's being improved upon, then the people on that street that the storm drain, services, then they get assessed
If
a
it's
special
if it's
assessment.
maintenance, Bolt says that it's a general benefit to the public that comes out of general tax revenues.
No,
a
but if
general
it's an
fund. I know,
improvement-
but if it's a capital improvement and it's benefiting my property, okay, as a property owner, that the benefit's being conferred, then you do it by special assessment. That's a capital improvement. If it's simply maintenance, then that's spread across the board as a public benefit. And you don't pay it as a property owner. But if it's capital improvement, they're putting in a brand-new stormwater system for this area of the city, that's a special assessment district, and you specially assess those properties within that district that are benefited by that stormwater system. Or at least a portion of it, because
Well,
of
we've
general
spent
policy.
several days talking about this
Yeah.
at home.
I'm not surprised.
And so it's quite complicated,
It is.
to say the least.
Are you selling any houses?
I am, yeah, I am. I'm
Sell me one.
Very busy.
Sell me one.
I've got a new listing coming up. Sign will be in front of it next week. 904 West Washington, 849. It is just a great house. Huge kitchen. Big rooms, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, a beautiful deck off the back. It is just west of Grinnell. 411 West Morel, which is another amazing house. It's down to 73.1. That's a 4-bedroom, 1.5 bath, 2,200 square feet, natural woodwork, 2-car detached garage, fenced yard. That's beautiful. I could go on and on, but I don't have time, I'm gathering. So call me, 780-3800.
So we'll see you next week.
Yes.
Thank you.
Wendy's presents Red.